Good Friday afternoon, everybody. I'm KHOU 11 meteorologist Tim Pandajis here with your Atlantic Tropical Update. And as we head into another weekend, we've got another Invest to talk about. Last weekend, it was Invest 98 heading into South Texas. This week, it's Invest 99L that now is at high chances at becoming either a tropical depression as early as later today or even our next named storm, our fourth of the season, which would be Tropical Storm Danielle in the Gulf of Mexico. Today is Friday, August 19th, 2022. So here is the latest info on Invest 99L. Remember, Invest stands for Investigative Area. 99, we go from 90 to 99 and recycle it. The L lets us know it's in the Atlantic Basin. The wave has thus far verified stronger than model forecasts. Ever since it was a weak tropical wave as it moved in the southern Caribbean, models have been underdoing the convection associated with it. It's also having a hard time, the models are, of depicting exactly where a center might be. And that could have some implications on where it goes forward in terms of its strengthening and its overall track. I'll show you that in a second. Now, it's got a small window for strengthening. That window closes by tomorrow afternoon, but until then, it is in an ideal environment for strengthening. And as I show you satellite imagery, it's really beginning to take advantage of that very favorable environment. Hurricane hunters en route to investigate this wave as we speak. They took off from Mississippi, or from Alabama, excuse me, and are heading into the storm. They're mid through the Gulf right now, halfway there. All right, so let's talk about named storms. It's been a while since we've had one. We're up to Colin, so our third named storm. That happened in early July. So at that point, we were well ahead of schedule of climatology, or on average when we see our third named storm, August 3rd. But August 15th came and went, and we did not have a fourth named storm. So as of right now, we're running a little bit behind climatology. And it's been an awfully long, in fact, remarkably long, dry streak in the Atlantic Basin. When we look at the top 5 gaps, the largest gaps between named storms since 1995, 2022 is now at number 3. We actually just climbed for number 4, surpassing 2001. It's been 47 days since there's been a named storm in the Atlantic. All right, here's the main event. This is Invest 99L. I'm playing a 12-hour radar loop for you here because it came off the Yucatan, and then notice it moves into that very fertile environment, and look at the explosion of convection. It's really taken advantage of that environment. So we look at this infrared satellite imagery to show us the temperatures of the cloud tops. Now, why that's important, when we start to see those white shades and black shades, those are very cold cloud tops, meaning they're stretching higher up into the atmosphere. Also means they're stronger. So when you see more of that around the center, that means that storm is strengthening and organizing. Brand new update from the National Hurricane Center. They've now nudged it even higher. High chances now of this becoming either a tropical depression or a named storm within the short term, because again, that window before it's forecast to move over land south of Brownsville, Texas, and north Mexico, that window will close. So before 48 hours, it's got a 70% chance of that developing. It's moving to the northwest at 10 miles an hour, an important speed because it's slow enough to take advantage of that very favorable environment. Switching things up now and showing you visible satellite imagery. It has a very dense cloud canopy, as you can see here. The convection is flaring on up and then spreading on out aloft, kind of clouding, seeing any circulation right there, but you can see the outflow aloft. It's certainly a big twist in the atmosphere, and it's getting itself together for sure. On the visible satellite imagery, that's very evident. Now we look for any dry air intrusions that can get sucked into the general circulation and kind of choke it off. We look for that with relative humidity in the mid-levels of the atmosphere being dry, right? And that would show up on our water vapor imagery with a copper color or brown. Notice that's void of any of that in our general area right now. I also want to take note and jump back a couple slides here and show you where it is located. Now, it is in the southern Gulf of Mexico, right? But it's in an area called the Bay of Campeche. And the topography here is in a way that's favorable to enhancing spin in tropical systems. This isn't the first storm to develop here. It won't be the last, but typically in this area, development odds are just a little bit higher just due to the topography of the bay there. And then as it slides into even a more fertile environment, we see it take advantage of the very favorable environment that we've been talking about here. Again, there's the visible satellite imagery. Water vapor imagery is favorable. So what's going on here? We've got the recon aircraft heading out into the storm. There it is right now, coming out of the Air Force Base in Mississippi, and it's driving south. It's going to head into the storm. They're going to drop some instrumentation into the storm, get the wind direction, see if there's a defined center. And then if that's the case, all that data gets put into the model data. We get a more refined revision of where it may be going forward, and it may get the upgrade too. So we'll see that within just a few hours. In terms of the vorticity kind of condensing its spin, when it came off of the Yucatan Peninsula and then it hit the more favorable environment, look at this. You can start to kind of see it wrapping up and becoming more condensed and consolidated. That's a sign of organization and strengthening. And we have all our ingredients there, right? You need warm sea surface temperatures. That's kind of ingredient number one. 86 degrees Fahrenheit, well above what we need. 80 degrees Fahrenheit or warmer. We've got a moist atmospheric profile. You saw the water vapor imagery. There's no dry air around. Check mark there. We've also got a favorable wind shear environment. Now, wind shear is a change in wind direction and speed with height. Why that's detrimental to storm development is because if you have stronger winds aloft, that's actually going to tilt the system over. Tropical systems, hurricanes, are vertical engines. They need to be vertically built to ventilate properly and organize and strengthen. When you have wind shear present, that's not possible. It has to be battling against that the whole time. However, remember that window I told you that's going to be closing? Look what happens here by Sunday afternoon. Wind shear does pick up. By that point in time, it's going to be in North Mexico and no longer be an issue. So the window is small. Now, where is it going? That's what you've been asking this whole time, right? Where is it going? Well, our computer models show that they're having a tough time deciphering exactly where the center of this is. Look at this. Models are initializing, kind of guessing where the center is. And most models are showing it farther to the southwest, but it's been verifying farther to the north and east. That means two things. It'll have a big implication on where the track goes going further from here. And also, it's going to have more time over water. Deeper, warmer water. So we'll see if this thing kind of overperforms in that small window that it has. Here's the GFS ensembles, right? So the ensembles is a run of the GFS model several different times, changing variables to see if we get a different outcome. That entire last run is having a tough time pinpointing exactly where it is. Now, the Hurricane Center is guessing at where the center is here. That's why they're flying aircraft out into it to find out where it is. So maybe the models are right and it's a little bit closer, or maybe it's in between. Either way, it'll be adjusted, and that data is crucial from the hurricane hunters to see where we go forward from here. Just for fun, I'm going to show you what the European and GFS operational runs show. You can't even decipher any storm of significance here. What we're looking for is closed isobars, lines of equal pressure. That's what you're seeing here, kind of moving around squiggly lines. When you see them condensed and wrapped around and tightly packed, that would be a strong storm, and we don't have that here. So I'm not expecting this to be a full-blown major storm that we'll be talking about for days, but it's certainly going to be something of note, bringing some much-needed rain to portions of North Mexico and even southern portions of Texas that are still dealing with drought. Beneficial rain came last week with Invest 98L. Maybe this could be a second round here. So the GFS and Euro, a tough time kind of figuring out what's going on. So I'm going to use a model that we have in-house here that we used for 98L last week that performed very, very well. And look what it does here as we go into tomorrow morning. It shows an organization here. You can certainly see a spin in the atmosphere. But then, just before it moves over land by late Saturday and early Sunday morning, it starts to encounter that wind shear too, and there's not really much left by Sunday afternoon. So we'll watch and see how things evolve there. We'll bring you the latest updates if, in fact, it does get an upgrade to a tropical depression later today, or tropical storm Danielle. And those updates will be found on my social media sites on Twitter, on Instagram, Facebook, and also on TikTok. You can find me at Tim Talk Weather. Have a great rest of your Friday and a great weekend.